Good morning. Good morning. I'm trying to correct myself. I failed to proofread my title. I was so tired last night when I did that last video. And as a result, I misspelled the word independence by leaving the letter D out of it. What I'm advocating for is the independence for Alaska. Alaska needs to become the peacekeepers. That's what Alaska's destiny is. See, Alaska, by having both an American history and a Russian history, can fill the role of peacekeepers. I believe that's possible. It's also the gatekeeper, because if Russia ever wanted to invade the United States, they would have to go through Alaska. I know that because I was a sophomore in high school when my father was in the War College, and he raved about one of his fellow officers coming up with a plan for how to defeat, playing the war games that they played, how to defeat America. And he played Russia. And he came right through Alaska in a wintertime invasion, right through Canada, right into the States. And he won in his war that he set up. I guess they all marveled at that. We have a history because we were Russias at one point. Matter of fact, we still might be Russias. Oh, boo-boo on my puppy dog's neck. Russia didn't sell us. Russia leased us. And the only reason it was done was as a cover to reimburse the Tsar for his navy. His navy was very expensive, and it preserved our nation. While we fought our civil war, they defended the Russian fleet, the Russian navy. The Tsar defended our harbors on the East Coast and the West Coast. He sent his navy to San Francisco Harbor and New York Harbor secretly. Had to keep it secret. He, the Tsar, knew better than we did. He knew what he was dealing with, what we were up against, and he wanted to help us. And he paid dearly for helping us. And we, in America, owe our very existence, our independence, to the Tsar. And it was because of the Tsar's help that the evil ones targeted the Tsar of Russia from Manhattan, here in our nation, and did that Bolshevik revolution. Yes, plotted and planned by American citizens. Financed by Jacob Schiff. Does that name sound familiar? It should. Adam Schiff is his lying offspring that's in the Senate right now. He should have been thrown out a long time ago. And if we had a constitutional Senate, they would have gotten rid of him. He's such an embarrassment, such a weird dude, man. Have you seen his bug eyes? He's got something wrong with him physically, emotionally, and mentally. He's a compulsive liar, and he can't stop himself. I advocate for independence for my state, Alaska. We have the resources. We can contribute to this world, but not with this federal government holding us back. They're tyrants. They're murderers. They're thieves. They will not allow us to develop our resources in a useful manner to share those with the world. And for you people who are against the development of that stuff, I want you to look around there and realize how many people you're killing every day because they can't feed themselves around the planet. It's been going on for a long time. Your selfishness, because you think you know better and you're protecting Mother Earth. No, you're not protecting Mother Earth, and you're not wise. I don't care what your background is. You don't have common sense. You follow these weird belief systems. Talk about brainwashing. Talk about deception. Talk about being deceived and becoming deceivers. That's what you are. Nothing but a bunch of lies. No science to anything. No open dialogue. No open discussion. No freedom of speech. No First Amendment. Free speech rights. You want to be tyrants. You want to dictate to the rest of us. You don't want us talking to one another. And above all, you don't want us organizing into the militias of the Second Amendment, which you're going to be forcing us to do. That's coming. We have approximately 70 days left, according to Jim Rickards, who was former CIA. Very brilliant man. I suspect he's a short-skirt Jesuit myself. They basically run this world in the background, in case you're wondering. The Jesuit general is the most powerful man on the planet. He's number 2 next to Satan. The Russian heritage in Alaska is very great. We've had plenty of room for that. We've gotten along just fine. It's wonderful. You talk about diversity and enrichment, cultural enrichment. We've had it. We've got it. And the native traditions that we have around. You folks got to be careful about what you wish for and how you want to blame the white man for enslaving people. You go down there and talk to the Haida people about that, especially to their women. Yeah, I've had some experience with them. They've got quite a rich tradition, and as tiny as they are and as small as they are, they still want to enslave the rest of us. Oh, go watch my other videos. It's kind of a funny story in a way. A little girl really did intimidate me. She really kind of meant it, you know. The peoples around the Pacific Rim, the Rim of Fire, that migrated, that went across the Pacific Ocean, that could travel it very, very effectively and efficiently. The richness of the peoples thereof, and the fact that the survivors from the last Earth Age came out of the Pacific Ocean from Polynesia and became your Phoenicians, which gave you the Phoenician alphabet, which the Israelites, the Hebrews, borrowed. They didn't even develop their own alphabet. They borrowed it from the Phoenicians. Where did the Phoenicians come from? Polynesia. Folks, we're a lot more connected than what you think and than what people realize. Our governments have been busy fragmenting us and keeping us separated. They don't want us talking to one another. They don't want us comparing notes. They don't want us realizing what the truth is. I mean, go down to New Zealand, and those people down there are hiding the truth as much as they can. They talk about the red-headed ones that no longer exist. And the crazy thing is that they're talking to the red-headed ones about themselves, saying, well, those people used to be here. They're not around here anymore. Oh, they're there still. I mean, it's just incredible. It's so rich. Folks, you do need to slow down a little bit. You do need to do that. Here in the West, we fail to honor and obey our own traditions to our own demise. We've allowed the rug to be pulled out from underneath us. Oh, jeez. You know, we were based upon biblical truths, principles, the history in the Bible. And yet we allowed that to be taken away from us. We could say we were robbed. We can also say we gave it away. We pissed it away. We turned our backs on Yahweh, Creator, Father God. And as a result, He has brought out His Barak. That's the name. That's the word that's in the Bible. Barak, who He uses against those who hate Him, who He uses against His enemies. You see, folks, the Bible really does tell us what's going on right now and what's coming. We call some of it prophecy. There's another term for some of that stuff that's going on today. Predictive programming. Yeah, I know. We have to open our minds up and discuss these concepts freely and consider them in order to free our minds of the slavery, the brainwashing, and the problems we have because the government wants to control and dictate everything to you and me. I say Alaska for Alaskans, and the hell with the lower 48. Let's develop our own resources. We can fill that pipeline up. We can have it full every day with oil going to market, to the Oriental peoples. Yeah, you want diversity? Let's give them the fuel. Why not? If they've got the fuel in their refineries made for our oil, does that not put relief on the planet for the little guy around the planet? Does that not lighten the burden for the little guy that's barely able to feed himself? We do have to stop diverting a food product into our gas tanks and burning it where it causes more air pollution, not less. Your air is dirtier by 7%. That's what the final studies showed about 4 years ago. So stop burning ethanol, corn. There's not enough energy in it anyway. It's not efficient. And you burn more fuel per mile traveled, reducing in more emissions than if you have a fuel that's got energy in it that you can go somewhere with and you burn less of it over the same distance. Less emissions. And by God, we've got some of the greatest technologies on the planet. We could run vehicles on water. Stanley, what's his name? They murdered Stanley. Stanley's last invention, I believe it was his last invention, he figured out how to retrofit our engines with some sort of a plug, if you will, a different kind of spark plug that allowed it to burn water. Wow. The earth produces oil constantly. It is not a fossil fuel. They did that as a marketing ploy to make you think, oh, there's only so much of it and we're going to run out of it because, you know, those fossils are precious, man. They're hard to find. It's best regarded as a mineral which the earth produces constantly. The earth creates it as an insulator. As a matter of fact, in this coming earth age transits, the earth is going to pump up those oil bays so well around in the earth, it's just not going to be funny. It's a blessing given to us, just like the rest of Mother Earth. And it's sacred, just like the rest of Mother Earth. Folks, our traditions are very rich, and they interlock. The overlap is tremendous. It's so rich, it's wonderful. I mean, gee, you want to know how the earth was created. It started with vibration, with frequency, with sound. Got that? With the word, with the logos, with the law. And you talk to the people in the Philippines, and they'll tell you about Tagalog, the bird that hovered above the waters and terraformed the earth, which also sounds a lot like our Bible when the Spirit of the Lord hovered over the deep. And might that not have been a spaceship terraforming the earth? We don't really know, do we? Be open-minded. Get some flexibility in your thinking. You need that. It's a sign of being young, vigorous, intelligent, flexible. And as one gets older, one needs more flexibility. We're forced to, we get to grow up a little bit more than the rest of you. So it does get better with age, believe me. Jesuit Jerry, the priest, told me that one time at lunch. He was consoling me. I don't know why I was bummed out or whatever, but I was turning 21. That's what was going on. And he told me as he's drinking his wine at lunch and smoking his cigarette after lunch and hanging out, told me it gets better. Gets better each decade. Gets better. He was right. I'm so glad for that little private lesson that I got with him. That was in Florence, Italy, when I went to school, to college in Italy, in Europe for a year. Well, folks, I'm just here to correct my spelling. Independence for Alaska. Independence. Oh boy, I really misspelled it badly. I left out 2 letters or so. I don't know. I look at it. It's early in the morning. It's the middle of the morning. It's 3:59 a.m. Look, I still hold to my adage, and I want you to remember this adage. I want you to get it out there because I'm stealing MAGA. I'm taking it. It means this, and you need to understand the importance and the common sense of my perspective. Making America great again is not up to you or me. That's God's work. In order to get Yahweh's blessing, we have to be good again. Make America good again. Alex de Tocqueville traveled the country for 2 years and wrote about our culture, wrote about this nation. And his conclusions were that America is great because America is good. And when America stops being good, America will stop being great. Folks, I don't think it's too late. But we have let some really weird stuff go across this planet in our name. I don't want to be blowing up pipelines. Do you? Pipeline diplomacy. I'm sorry, but the devils that come up with that stuff ought to be run out of the country. Not just out of office, but they ought to be handed over to the people they've harmed. It's just like Bush Jr. He's still alive. How many hundreds of thousands or million children or millions of children did he kill in Iraq? Is he responsible for? I just as soon hand his ass right over to the Iraqis and tell them, here you go. Take your pound of flesh, administer your justice, do as you will. Yes, we apologize. We allowed this jackass to ascend to power, and he harmed you. He harmed us too. Here, please take this as a token, as a tiny symbol of our apology for having harmed you so much. The war was totally unnecessary. If you look at the CIA operative who they imprisoned for 5 years under the Patriot Act, she had Saddam Hussein eating out of the palm of her hand. Saddam Hussein knew the game. He knew how it was played. He made offers that were so good, America would be wealthy today, and it would be on the up and up. It would be good. It would be proper. Look at what we got today. What a mess we've created. What a mess we have. And you think the rest of the earth, the rest of the people respect us? Oh no, they can see how ugly we are better than we can. They know better what's going on in this country than we do. Our news is totally controlled. It's been that way for a long time. I would yank their licenses, especially the broadcasting licenses on these big guys. But of course, who can say where the government ends and where it begins? Do these corporations control our government? Or does our government control the corporations? Can you tell me? Can you discern that for me? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can tell the difference anymore. We've got a monstrosity here. It is the beast system. It's about the worst stuff, the most wicked stuff across the last few millennia that you could possibly arrive at. J. Edgar Hoover warned you. Said the average little guy is facing conspiracy so vast, so large, he can't wrap his mind around it. Not that he could barely wrap his mind around it. He can't comprehend it, period. It is that big. It is that ugly. It is that evil. And these people that run around in their jets talking about global warming to the rest of us and trying to rule over the rest of us, maybe we shouldn't even let their jets fly anymore, huh? I think they're a bunch of liars and thieves and murderers. We've had some great men who have made some incredible decisions. Abraham Lincoln. I'm not so sure I like his decisions all that well. I don't know if he had much of a better choice than what he had. I just don't know. We can say he saved the Union, but at what cost? He destroyed our Jeffersonian Republic. He destroyed the Republic. It just took a long time after his passing to finalize it. But you shouldn't have a 17th Amendment for the direct election of senators, because that just turns them into super congressmen. The senators represent the state governments from which they came. We need to return to that. We need to return to the original structure. We need to do it for the sake of the people around the entire world. We have to get control of ourselves. We have to discipline ourselves. Are we to blame? Doesn't matter. What matters is it's our responsibility. We cannot shirk our responsibility. We have to take the reins again. We have to seize control of our own government back from those wicked ones that have taken us over. You've all been hijacked. No, they did not deport you like they did the northern house of Israel or the southern house of Judah. Rather, they superimposed a foreign jurisdiction upon you all. It's not common law here. They don't accept common law pleas in our courts. Every time they convict a man under statutory law, it's actually a crime. Our legal system is a criminal system. It commits criminal acts every day on these men because they don't have their rights. They're not allowed to defend themselves. We set them up and require them to take plea deals, plea bargains, sign their rights away. I'm sorry, folks. There's no justice in these courts. They're not common law courts. They're not proper courts. They're all courts of commerce, admiralty law, law of the sea, maritime law. I wonder when we were really free. When was the last time that we were free? You might feel free because you're able to do stuff. Maybe you can even do stuff you probably shouldn't be doing. That's not best for you. But when was the last time you were truly free? What are the limits on freedom? Is not natural law limits on freedom? How about Yahweh's law, the Ten Commandments, the contract our peoples entered into at Mount Sinai? Does that not give freedom? Does it not save? It does. It blesses. Blessings are in the Bible. Look it up. The laws in Exodus 20, the blessings. The blessings are in two places in the Bible, at both places, two places, double witness in the Bible, in Deuteronomy and Leviticus. And you have the curses for disobedience. They're twice as long as the blessings. And they don't have to occur in a particular order. But if you look at those sequentially, it's terminal. It leads to the death of a nation. America is pretty much done right now. We've been done in. We've been beat. Look at this. They can do these, light trains on fire, set chemicals on fire with impunity. There's no checks and balances anymore. The people certainly aren't in control. No, you let the government get away from you. You love to be on the dole. You think somebody's going to give me something for nothing. What kind of delusion is that? Isn't that a little bit on the psychotic side? Out of touch with reality? I tell you, one of the best things I did was when I decided I'm not taking free stuff. I'm not accepting it. All these advertisements, all these businesses say, do this for free, get this for free. Even our government says, get this for free. While they're imprisoning you, while they're capturing you, while they're screwing you over with their really bad contracts. I would love to see truth in advertising. I'd love to see anyone who lies in an advertisement being brought down. Most of it's lies, too, by the way. So, my fellow Americans, how's it feel to have become the people of the lie? How does it feel to become a sociopathic culture, a sociopathic country? You see, you have been taken over by a sociopathic culture, a sociopathic country, Khazaria. You're being ruled by the Khazarian mafia. And the roots to those guys, those go back to Babylon. They go back to Egypt. They go back to Mount Seir, otherwise known as Mount Edom. And Edom, before he sold his inheritance for a bowl of red porridge, red lentils, and Edom means red, Edom was known as Esau. It's in the Bible, folks. Read it. Get the Bible out and read it. I've got a link down below for you. You go to it, it'll give you the most modern, the best Bible ever in English. And there's 5 different formats of it, and they're for sale for the cheapest prices anywhere, right here, right through this program of mine. I have the privilege and the honor. I've been given that blessing to be able to introduce you to this Bible. It is far better than the 1611 King James Bible. Why? Because it is the King James Bible, and it is corrected according to the old original language from before Ptolemy II bastardized it about 275 BC when he produced the Septuagint. He took out the proper name of God. And they also translated some of those words a little bit funny. I mean, if you look at some of the passages, and I would love to see the publisher put out a parallel translation with a decent version of the original Old English King James next to the new, because there are some terms that are different. And this new Bible is far more accurate. And you will make fewer mistakes, fewer erroneous assumptions reading it than you will the old language. Can we do better? Yes, we can, and we will. We could get more in context. It's kind of hard to do that across, 3,000 years? Some of that Bible came from the previous Earth Age, by the way. How long is an Earth Age? A little over 12,000 years. Just a little bit over it. We're coming to the end of an Earth Age. It's not going to be a good time for anything on the surface. Not just anyone, but anything. And we should be pulling together in order to survive this. We should be stockpiling fuel for the coming winter that we're going to be going through all together. Especially on that one side of the planet opposite the microburst. Instant freeze. It's happened in the past. You might have wondered, how do these mastodons freeze so much in a flash that they're perfectly preserved? The dude's still got buttercups in his mouth. He's still chewing his food. It happens fast. It happens different at different times. I've heard we're not in for quite a bad a time this time as we were in the last time. And in case you're wondering, last time it was the Americas that got hit. This time it's going to be Europe and Africa. So, what do you care about the Europeans or the Africans? Folks, if we had honesty in our science, if we hadn't had Richard Milhous Nixon signing an executive dictate that he was going to hide the truth from the American people, we'd all be further ahead. We wouldn't have been defrauded most of our wealth as they went into an underground economy building all of this stuff in the wrong places. Why in the wrong places? Because they're dumbasses. They thought that by keeping it to themselves, for themselves, they would have it to themselves. Well, they built a lot of deep underground military bases, a lot of dumbs. And that's the right term for them, dumbs, because the dumb locations, they're just going to become a lot of graves for a lot of people. All right, folks, that's all I got for you. This is going to be Psychology 125. And again, I'm going to entitle this Independence for Alaska, because I want my people to be free. I want to be the land of the free, the home of the brave. And let that be Alaska, since the people in the lower 48 want to just be on the dole and be dependent. My God, we just have to drill one well up there in the North Slope and build the pipeline to it, and that pipeline will be filled for a millennia or two. That's not a century, folks. It's thousands of years. And all that oil can go out there and help our brothers and sisters over in the Orient that need it. That's where it should be going. That pipeline will stay healthy because it will be full. We will have the wherewithal to maintain it. We'll have the wherewithal to make every Alaskan rich. We won't need to be on federal government dole. We'll have actual wealth. We'll have real gold in our pockets, real silver in our pockets, instead of these IOU slave notes, these certificates of title. This horrible stuff, a set of frauds that they put on us. We need to stop participating in their frauds. Folks, that's all I got for you. May Yahweh bless the Republic once again, or may Yahweh give Alaska her independence. Over and out.